Hello students, I am Dr. Manas Kumar Das, Director, Orlean College of Pharmacy, Greater Noida. Today, I will teach you pathophysiology, code BP 204T. It comes under the pharmacy branch, and today's lecture is lecture 2, causes of cell injury and pathogenesis. So, in last slide, we started the pathophysiology with different kinds of definitions. What is homeostasis? What are the feedback mechanisms like negative and positive feedback mechanism? And today's slide will discuss about these points like definition, etiology of cell injury, cellular response to cell injury, adaptive disorders, atrophy, hypertrophy, hyperplasia, pathologic hyperplasia, dysplasia, apoptosis, necrosis, pathogenesis of cell injury, ultrastructural changes during cell injury due to hypoxia, ischemia. So, these are the contents of the today's slide. So, come and start with from the definition. So, what is the definition of a cell injury? Cell injury is a very vital part of the pathophysiology study. So, cell injury is defined as the effect of a variety of stress due to etiologic agents, etiologic agents a cell encounters resulting in changes in its internal and external environment. In general, cells of the body have inbuilt mechanism to deal with changes in environment to an extent. So, like the homeostasis, our body is also having some inbuilt mechanism by which body can control or body can compensate some amount of changes in the caused by due to some environmental injury, due to some mechanical injury, but up to certain extent. So, students, cell injury is defined as the effect of a variety of stresses due to etiologic agents. It may be different kind of agents, chemical, mechanical, hormonal, microbial, different kinds of agents may be there which can cause cell injury, and a cell encounters resulting in changes in its internal and external environment. The cellular response to stress may vary and depends upon following two variables. What are the two variables? Host factors, that is the type of cell and tissue involved, and the second one is factors pertaining to injurious agents, that is extent and types of cell injury. Now, come to the etiology of cell injury, that is a very important part of to know about the cell injury. So, how it occurs? Etiology means the cause. So, there may be the two major ways, two major cause of cell injury. One is genetic and another one is acquired. Genetic means which we get from the hereditary, and acquired which we get in our livelihood, in our life. So, based on underlying agent, the acquired causes of cell injury can be further categorized as hypoxic and ischemia induced cell injury, physical agents, chemical agents and drugs, microbial agents, immunologic agents, nutritional dearrangements, psychological factors and idiopathic agents. Idiopathic means which where the cause is not known. So, unknown cause, exact we cannot find out, but we know there is cell injury. So, that is the idiopathic type of cell injury. So, again we can repeat this one: hypoxia and ischemia, physical agents, chemical agents and drugs, microbial agents, immunologic agents, nutritional dearrangements, physiological factors, idiopathic agents. Now, come to the cellular responses to cell injury. So, see there. So, this is normal cell. Normal cell, the injury can happen by 3 types, by 3 ways. So, altered functional demand, mild to moderate stress and severe or and persistent stress. So, altered functional demand is a very mild one, which can be reversed easily. Mild to moderate, which needs some repairing or healing process, and in severe or persistent stress, that is irreversible type. So, the cell will either will die or it will be damaged. So, if you see in the altered functional demand, the adaptation happens. What are the adaptations? When there is some changes, some mild or some altered functional changes, the body cells will adapt to this new environment, new condition. So, they will change to atrophy. We will learn this in detail in next slides. Hypertrophy, hyperplasia, metaplasia and dysplasia. These are the 5 very important things. This is also important for short answer type questions and also for short notes. So, atrophy, hypertrophy, hyperplasia, metaplasia and dysplasia. These are the different things, 5 things which comes under the adaptations of a cell. Then when the stress is removed, until unless stress is there, the cell will do all these things. When the stress is removed, the normal cell restoration will happen. Normal cell restoration will happen means it is again normally restored itself as it was in earlier condition. Okay. Now, come to the mild to moderate stress. So, this is reversible cell injury. When in next slides we will PPTs we will study about the cell injury. There are 2 types of cell injury. One is reversible type cell injury and another is irreversible type. The name is already saying that reversible means the cell condition, cell structure can be reversed. So, that is why it is happening in the mild to moderate stress. To degeneration will happen, subcellular alterations and intracellular accumulations. Fat may be accumulated, protein may be accumulated, these are different accumulations inside the cell may happen. There may be some subcellular alterations or there may be some degenerations. When the stress is removed, it will go under repairing and healing process and the cell will be restored. But in severe and persistent stress, it is irreversible cell injury and only the cell death may occur. Now, come to the adaptive disorders. What is adaptive disorders? Adaptive disorders are adjustment which the cells make in response to stresses, which may be for physiologic needs like physiologic adaptation or a response to non-lethal pathologic injury, that is pathologic adaptations. So, we know about the 2 types of adaptations, one is physiologic adaptations and another one is pathologic adaptations. So, there are the following adaptive responses, like I told in the last slide. This is atrophy, decrease in cell size, hypertrophy, increase in cell size, hyperplasia, increase in number of cells, metaplasia and dysplasia. This is changing pathway of phenotypic differentiation of cells. Now, come to the atrophy. This is the reduction of the number and size of parenchymal cells of an organ or its parts, which are once normal. So, earlier it was normal, now the changes have happened. So, causes are physiologic atrophy and pathologic atrophy. So, in the physiologic atrophy, this is because of our physiology, like process of aging, like atrophy of gonads after menopause, when the menstruation cycle stops in case of aged female, the atrophy of gonads happen. Now, atrophy of thymus in adult life. So, these are the atrophy changes of the normal cells. Now, come to the pathological atrophy. Pathological atrophy, there may be some disuse atrophy. If we do not use the organ for long time, there will be atrophy. Ischemic atrophy, if there is a less oxygen supply in a certain area, the organ will be will not function properly and the atrophy will happen, the size of the organ will happen and it will not also work properly. So, that is the ischemic atrophy. So, you can see here the atrophy. Now, hypertrophy. Hypertrophy is an increase in the size of a parenchymal cells resulting in enlargement of the organ or tissue without any change in the number of cells. Okay. So, number of cells it will not change the number of cells, but it will change the size of the cell. So, physiological hypertrophy, enlarge of the size of the uterus during the pregnancy, the size of uterus increase in the time of pregnancy, it is the physiologic hypertrophy. Pathologic hypertrophy, like hypertrophy of cardiac muscle, in the cardiac disease hypertrophy of smooth muscle, hypertrophy of skeletal muscle and adrenal hyperplasia of the adrenal gland. Adrenal gland secrete the cortisol. So, these are the different examples of pathologic hypertrophy and physiologic, this is the physiologic hypertrophy of uterus in the time of pregnancy. Now, come to the hyperplasia. In hyperplasia, the number of cells increase. See, here it is given. See, this is the normal cells, these are. Now, it is the hypertrophy. See, the size of the cells remain increase, number remain same, size remain increase. Hyperplasia, the size remains same as the normal one and the number of cells increased. This is hyperplasia. Now, come to the pathologic hyperplasia. Endometrial hyperplasia following estrogen excess. So, estrogen excess when happens and the progesterone level decreases, the shedding of endometrium does not happen. In the menstruation cycle, the endometrium shedding does not happen. So, that their endometrial hyperplasia forms. So, the thickening of the endometrium happens, it is because of the estrogen excess and it is an example of pathologic hyperplasia. In wound healing, there is formation of granulation tissue due to proliferation of fibroblasts and endothelial cells. That is another example of pathologic hyperplasia. Formation of skin warts, you know, there are some patchy and this one bumpy things happens. This one papilloma virus is the responsible for the skin warts from hyperplasia of epidermis due to human papilloma virus. So, these are the examples of pathologic hyperplasia. Now, come to the physiologic hyperplasia. In physiologic hyperplasia, there are two things we discussed here, hormonal hyperplasia and compensatory hyperplasia. In the hormonal hyperplasia, hyperplasia of female breast at puberty. This is the example of hormonal hyperplasia. Okay. So, female breast size start increasing in the at the puberty, that is a normal process, it is because of the hyperplasia, because the number of cells increase. Hyperplasia of pregnant uterus, this is another example of the hyperplasia due to hormones. Compensatory hyperplasia, hyperplasia occurring following removal part of an organ or in the contralateral organ in the paired organ, like liver following partial hepatectomy. We all know the liver can be liver regeneration happens, liver cells can regenerate after the hepatectomy. So, that is because of the compensatory hyperplasia, and regeneration of epidermis after skin abrasion. When there is skin abrasion due to some mechanical injury or some other reason, if it happens, a skin automatically regenerate the epidermis. So, that is a compensatory hyperplasia. Now, come to the metaplasia. What is metaplasia? It is defined as a reversible change of one type of epithelial or mesenchymal adult cells to another type of adult epithelial or mesenchymal cells, usually in response to abnormal stimuli, or often reverts back to normal on removal of stimulus. So, what is actually it is meaning? So, this is a reversible change, as I told you, this is all a reversible change, can be reversed when the stimulus has gone, of the one type of epithelial or mesenchymal cells, okay, epithelial or mesenchymal adult cells to another. So, it will change to another type of adult epithelial or mesenchymal cells. The reason behind this is some abnormal stimuli. Okay. So, this is the metaplasia. Metaplasia is broadly divided into two types, epithelial metaplasia and mesenchymal metaplasia. So, epithelial metaplasia is more common type, depending upon the type of epithelium transformed. Two types of epithelial metaplasia are seen, squamous and columnar. These are the type of epithelial tissues, squamous and columnar. So, these are the two types of epithelium metaplasia we can commonly see. That another one is, that is not most common, but mesenchymal metaplasia, that is osseous metaplasia, formation of bone in skeletal muscle. That is an example of mesenchymal metaplasia. Now, come to the dysplasia. Dysplasia means disorders cellular development, often preceded or accompanied with metaplasia and hyperplasia. It is therefore also referred to as atypical hyperplasia. It is like unique type atypical hyperplasia. So, in dysplasia what we can see? It means disorder cellular development, often preceded or accompanied with metaplasia and hyperplasia. It is therefore also referred to as atypical hyperplasia. So, here we can see the cells are formed as typical cells and these were the normal cells. Now, come to the apoptosis, that is a very important topic for short questions and also for the long questions. This apoptosis, what is apoptosis? Apoptosis is a form of coordinated and internally programmed cell death. This is programmed cell death, having significance in a variety of physiologic and pathologic conditions. So, apoptosis equal to falling off or dropping off as that of leaves or petals. So, like in the tree we can see in the winter season the leaves and petals they fall off, like cells also fall off, die, that is a programmed cell death, it is called apoptosis. There are two types of apoptosis, physiological and pathologic process. So, here we can see normal healthy cell, this is necrosis, this is apoptosis. In necrosis, this is increase in cell volume, loss of plasma membrane integrity and leakage of cellular content. But in apoptosis there will be cell shrinkage, plasma membrane blebbing. Blebbing means these are the like blebbing, bulging, formation of apoptotic bodies. These are the qualities of apoptosis we can be seen. Necrosis, these are the 4 types of necrosis. We will study properly in the next slide, next PPT. Coagulative necrosis, liquefaction necrosis, it is also called as qualicative, caseous necrosis, fat necrosis and fibrinoid necrosis. These are the 5 different types of necrosis. Now, come to the pathogenesis of cell injury. So, injury to the normal cells by one or more of the above listed etiological agents may result in a state of reversible or irreversible cell injury. As we know, cell injury are of 2 types, reversible and irreversible. In general, following common forms of cell injury by various agents, like factors pertaining to etiologic agent and host, types, duration and severity of injurious agent, types, status and adaptability of target cells. These are the factors. Common underlying mechanisms are mitochondrial damage by ATP depletion, because ATP is the powerhouse of the cell, and the cell membrane damage. This is again a very vital mechanism for injury. Release of the free radicals also harmful for our cells. Usual morphological changes, what happens in the injury, cell injury, functional implications and disease outcomes. Now, come to the summation of the ischemic or ischemia induced cell injury. This is the ischemia, here the blood is not coming. So, what will happen in the mitochondrion? So, oxidative phosphorylation will be decreased, because mitochondria is not getting oxygen. Now, it produce ATP. So, the ATP production will decrease. So, there are 3 things will happen. One, it will decrease the sodium ion pump. Sodium ion pump, when it will be decreased, then it will increase the influx of calcium, H2O and Na plus. It will also increase the efflux of potassium. So, endoplasmic reticulum swelling, cellular swelling, loss of microvilli blebs. These things will happen when there will be a decrease in the sodium ion pump. In the second mechanism, when there will be increase in the anaerobic glycolysis. So, oxygen is not there. So, cell will try to compensate by anaerobic glycolysis. There will be again 3 things: decrease in the glycogen, increase in the lactic acid and decrease in the pH. When the pH will decrease, means the acidity will increase. So, it will help in the clumping of nuclear chromatin. So, clumping of nuclear chromatin will increase, and so these are the 3 things: decrease in the glycogen, increase in the lactic acid, decrease in the pH, which will cause the decrease in the acidity. So, acidic nature of the cell will increase, and it will help in the clumping of nuclear chromatin. So, clumping of the nuclear chromatin will happen, and the third one is detachment of ribosomes. Ribosomes will be detached, and ribosomes are responsible for our protein synthesis. So, protein synthesis will decrease, and it will also do the lipid deposition. So, these are the different problems will happen when there is ischemia. Ischemia is, we know, ischemia means it is the less supply of oxygen. This is the reason. So, it will affect the mitochondrion. So, in mitochondria there will be the oxidative phosphorylation will be affected, it will be decreased, and it will again decrease the ATP. It will when the ATP level will be decreased, ATP production will be decreased, the sodium pump will decrease, it will increase the anaerobic glycolysis, and it will also detachment the ribosomes will happen. So, sodium pump will ultimately cause the endoplasmic reticulum swelling, cellular swelling, loss of microvilli blebs, and in increase of the anaerobic glycolysis will cause the clumping of nuclear chromatin, and detachment of ribosomes will cause the lipid depositions. So, this is the ultrastructural changes during cell injury due to hypoxia ischemia. So, this is reversible, this is irreversible, this is normal cell, we can see there is swelling, there is totally जो है vacuoles, there is blebs happens, this is there is in the irreversible, this is disruption, and in reversible, that is swelling we can see, that was totally dispersed ribosome, that is autophagy in reversible, that is ruptured lysosomes, cytoskeleton is aggregated, here it is disrupted in irreversible, in nucleus it is clumped of chromatin as we studied just now, and here pycnosis, karyolysis and karyolysis will happen. This we will study in the next slide, next PPT. Thank you.